A basilica to guard the stone of Jesus' agony, a sanctuary to tell one of the most intense moments in Jesus' life, his agony in the Garden of Olives, from light to penumbra and suffering in the Basilica of Gethsemane, a sensation experienced by architect Barluzzi during the construction of the striking Basilica of Gethsemane 100 years ago. From death to life, an evening of Byzantine Easter hymns in Beit Sahour. A group from the Beit Sahour Orthodox community lit a candle of hope for a new beginning in the midst of the difficult times the Holy Land is going through. The voices of singers filled with gratitude and praise to the Lord rang out on Easter night. We Are Hope, the opening of the Capital of Resurrection Theatre. The opening ceremony of Jerusalem's Holy Land High School Theatre to bring students and teachers closer together, boost students' self-confidence, and expand their cognitive and artistic abilities. A historic event in the Franciscan family, the twinning of the Holy Sepulchre and the Shrine of the Most Holy Crucifix. The twinning between the Shrine of the Most Holy Crucifix of the Capuchin Friars Minor and the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem was celebrated in Cosenza. This was a historic event to seal which the custody of the Holy Land made a gift to the Capuchin shrine of a relic from Mount Calvary and 3 relics from Gethsemane. A shrine to tell one of the most intense moments in Jesus' life, his agony in the Garden of Olives. My soul is sad unto death. Stay here and watch with me. Then, having gone a little way forward, he threw himself on the ground and prayed that, if it were possible, that hour might pass from him. And he said, Abba, Father, all things are possible to you. Take this cup away from me, but not what I want, but what you want. From light to penumbra and suffering in the Basilica of Gethsemane, a feeling experienced by architect Barluzzi during the construction of the striking Basilica of Gethsemane 100 years ago. On the afternoon of April the 19th, Brother Massimo Fusarelli, Minister General of the Order of Friars Minor visiting the Holy Land, presided over Mass together with Brother Francesco Patton, Custos of the Holy Land, Brother Ignacio Serra Jimenez, Vicar General of the Order, and priests of the communities to celebrate 100 years since the construction of the Basilica. We know that among the rocks in the barren earth flowers can grow, the Minister General said in his homily. He pointed to 3 of those flowers, starting from the readings. The humiliation of the obedient servant that becomes healing for humanity. The obedience that Jesus learned from what he suffered, and vigilance. In the trial, the attitude that Jesus indicates is not to resist against the feelings of fear and anguish, but vigilance, to remain awake, not to be overwhelmed by suffering. After the celebration, Brother Massimo Fusarelli inaugurated the exhibition Lux Tenebra, twin of the one inaugurated at Tabor. The title of the exhibition recalls precisely this polarity, light and darkness, because the 2 basilicas whose centennial we are celebrating have this characteristic. Tabor is an explosion of light. Instead, here the architect Barluzzi wanted to represent that feeling of agony, that feeling of pain, suffering that Jesus experienced in trying to unify his human will with a divine will. Barluzzi's concern 100 years ago was to express in form, in architecture, the evangelical meaning that these shrines are meant to remind us of in this precise place. The visitor who enters from the blinding light of the outside of Jerusalem, the sunshine of Jerusalem, the clear light of the city, upon entering here, finds himself immersed in a night that is the night of Gethsemane. He is catapulted into that feeling that Jesus experienced on the night of agony. So both from an emotional point of view, with the colors and the atmosphere that he has recreated, and also intellectually with a rich symbolic apparatus that he then recreated in the domes and the mosaic decorations. For Brother Francesco Patton, guarding the place of Jesus' agony has special significance. For us to guard this place has a special meaning. We know that this stone, according to the tradition of St. Luke's Gospel, is a stone on which Jesus sweat blood. So in some way it already anticipates that shedding of blood for us that he will do on the cross. All the places that we treasure are linked to a particular moment in Jesus' life, to a particular moment of that great mystery that is the incarnation of the Son of God for our redemption, for our salvation. And so we believe what Pope Paul VI also said. Providence has willed that as Franciscans, who love the humanity of Christ, we should also be custodians of the stones that bear witness to the historical reality of the incarnation, of the redemption. The custos of the Holy Land still recalls that this church is a very important symbol for our time. The Basilica was built after World War I, thanks to the cooperation of many countries, so much so that it earned the nickname Basilica of Nations. The presence of various representatives of the diplomatic corps confirmed that universality envisioned by Berluzzi is still a reality today.
E per noi questa basilica è un simbolo di pace. È il segno che le nazioni sono chiamate a cooperare.
And for us this basilica is a symbol of peace. It is a sign that nations are called to cooperate, not to fight each other, to join forces and also to unite resources for the good of all humanity and for peace. And this message seems to me to be particularly relevant in a time that is unfortunately crossed by too many wars, in a time when it seems that peoples have forgotten the value of cooperating and coming together. They are instead returning to exacerbate what is conflict, tension, and unfortunately the wars that are currently going on, including the wars that we experience here in the Holy Land, throughout the Middle East.
Comprese le guerre che sperimentiamo qui in Terra Santa e in tutto il Medio Oriente, sono di segno opposto.
I think this basilica is really a special place to pray for peace, to pray for reconciliation, he concluded, a place that receives thousands of pilgrims from different Christian denominations. A church is not a museum and it cannot stand without prayer. It cannot stand without this presence. Above all, this is what we friars do in the Holy Land. Because the sanctuary of Gethsemane, first thing, as well as the others, calls us to prayer. But here especially, I think, more because Jesus prayed here, and also prayer and obedience to the Father. Then there is another aspect of the sanctuary, a very special aspect. This shrine also gathers other Christian denominations. It is not only Catholics. There are many Protestants for whom this place is very important, especially for prayer. For Jesus praying, teaching how to pray, looking at the will of the Father. So it is a sanctuary that teaches us to open the Bible, that teaches us that Scripture is also going forward in this. A group from the Beit Sahour Orthodox community lit a candle of hope for a new beginning in the midst of the difficult times the Holy Land is going through. On Easter night, the voices of the singers resounded full of gratitude and praise to the Lord. We thank Him for His blessing, which breaks through the walls of silence and sadness and reminds us that after death there is resurrection. The evening corresponds to the message of Jesus, who tells His disciples, "Do not be afraid, I am with you every day." So we say to our people, do not be afraid, the dawn is coming. Even if the night is long, no matter how long it takes for the dawn to break, the dawn will come. Title of the evening, From Death to Life. So our people fight death to live and start again. In every sound and every hymn, group members carry a profound message highlighting the spirit of Easter as the spirit of victory, of light over darkness. The evening was attended by the Minister of Tourism and Antiquities, Hani Al-Hayek, priests from various churches, and a large crowd of citizens. We are advocates for peace. We are against extremism and fanaticism. We want the peace spoken of by the King of Glory in the Bible. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. We ask in these moments, in this great week, world leaders to end this devastation, this killing of children, women, elderly, the demolition of homes. We want to live like everyone else in this world. We want the freedom that God has given us, and no human being has the right to monopolize. The issue of immigration from the Holy Land worries Father Issa Musleh, official spokesman for the Greek Orthodox Patriarchate of Jerusalem. I call on Palestinians in general, and Christians in particular, to resist the temptation of immigration because of the economic, political and social conditions we are experiencing today. This is our country. These are our churches. From death to life, an Easter evening that addresses a painful reality and awakens the hope of resurrection with a better tomorrow. In an effort to provide an integrated learning environment of excellence for students, Father Ibrahim Faltas, custodial vicar of the Custody of the Holy Land, built a theatre for Jerusalem's Holy Land High School to bring students and teachers closer together, strengthen students' self-confidence, and broaden their cognitive and artistic perspectives. The theatre's opening ceremony was presided over by Father Massimo Fusarelli, Minister General of the Order of Friars Minor, and by Father Francesco Patton, Custos of the Holy Land.
If we care education, we have in the heart the future of our people. I'm sure that this Terra Santa High School, this center, the sports center, the theater of resurrection are all spaces to grow, spaces to meet the others, spaces here in this.
And in the midst of the challenges facing the Holy Land, the theatre's opening focused on giving hope to the souls of children with a performance entitled We Are Hope. We are hope. And all the performances we do today, the songs, the folk dances and the words, are many moments of hope. Hope for a more beautiful future, hope for the children and for every person who does not live in this holy city. The city of Jerusalem, my people and the city of Jerusalem deserve a center like this, because they have suffered, they have endured so much, and the generation before them has suffered so much. Let us work for the future, so that these children can have a better life than ours and those before them. And as Father Ibrahim also rightly said in his speech, Jerusalem must be the city of life, resurrection and hope. And when we are also able to offer a school and then offer an educational system, we also concretely help the city to renew itself, to rise again and also to look to the future with hope. It is very important because it allows young people to express themselves through the medium of theatre. Theatre really is a means of expression of feelings and ideas, of what young people feel and can express freely. So I think it is always important to accompany children, young people on this educational path, also through theatre activities. The new Resurrection Capital Sports Centre, serving the city's students and residents, was inaugurated, and on April the 17th, 2024, the school theatre, with a capacity of about 130 people and equipped with the latest technological and stage innovations, was opened. In his inauguration speech, Father Faltas revealed that a statue of the risen Christ, about 10 meters high, will be erected on the roof of the school in the coming months. On May the 18th, the Pope will give a special blessing to a statue in Verona. Afterwards, the statue will be taken to Jerusalem and placed over the Holy Land School. In this way, when people visit Jerusalem, they can see the statue. It will be near the Church of the Resurrection. Only we Arabs call it that, so that everybody knows that after the tomb there will be a resurrection, while in other languages we call it the Basilica of the Holy Sepulchre.
This is the symbol of Jerusalem. Everyone is welcome, everyone is loved, everyone belongs to God. And to everyone, God blesses. And this is what we are working for. The school itself, as Pope Francis said, should be the art of helping the young, the children, to attain completeness.
A historic event marks the life of the Shrine of the Most Holy Crucifix in Cosenza, the spiritual heart of the Calabrian capital, entrusted to the Capuchin friars minor. Since the beginning of the conflict between Israel and Hamas, they have shown special spiritual and material closeness to the custody of the Holy Land. A twinning between the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem and the Capuchin shrine as a sign of gratitude and to seal the deep communion that has been created between the custody and the Capuchin province of Calabria. Brother Stefan Milovic, Latin Superior of the Holy Sepulchre, came to Cosenza on the occasion of the Novena of the Most Holy Crucifix, bringing as a gift a relic of Calvary and 3 relics of Gethsemane, a huge celebration for the Capuchin community, opening a history of collaboration and pastoral projects in common with the custody of the Holy Land.
Abbiamo vissuto oggi un momento molto forte, questo legame che
We experienced a very powerful moment today. This bond that has been established between our shrine, the Most Holy Crucifix, and the Basilica of the Holy Sepulchre. Here, 2 places that want to remind us of God's great love. This church of ours that holds the devotion to the Most Holy Crucifix really wants to remind us that true love passes through the cross. So this twinning that we have sealed today with the Basilica of the Holy Sepulchre also wants to express for the city of Cosenza an everlasting bond with the mystery of God's love.
Un legame serenne con il mistero dell'amore di Dio.
Fra Stefano ha presieduto l'antica preghiera che commemora le 5 piaghe di Gesù crocifisso, devozione popolare che il santuario custodisce insieme a molte altre, integrando il passato e il presente della liturgia in un servizio a Dio e ai fratelli che recupera e valorizza ogni espressione della fede.
In questa chiesa, in questo santuario diocesano, si trova
In this church, in this diocesan shrine, there is a venerated crucifix. Well, I was fortunate enough to bring a stone from Calvary to allow this crucifix to be rooted on Calvary. We expect that the pilgrims who come in large numbers to this shrine and the local people here who live a very uplifting Christian life, as I have been able to see, can also come closer to the source of their faith, to be able to come one day, as soon as possible, we hope, to the Holy Land. The twinning aims to manifest a union between this shrine and the Holy Land, and to create exchanges between one and the other. We had a beautiful day. I could see that our Capuchin brothers in this city manage, driven by their faith, to live in solidarity with the poorest. I must say that this touched me very much in my faith, to see to what extent some young people freely give so much to others, just driven by faith that they received in this shrine.
Tanto agli altri, proprio spinto da quella fede che hanno ricevuto in questo santuario.
Open yourself to a gesture of solidarity and support the mission of the Custody of the Holy Land. The Christian Media Center spreads the good news of Jesus by making known to the world the spirituality of the holy places and the lives of the Christians who live here. Your contribution will help us bring the proclamation of the risen Lord, the most urgent of all, to men and women of every language and nation. To help us concretely, open the QR code. Your choice makes a difference.